Are you looking for salad dressings that are low in bites, points, and calories, but also delicious? If so, I have the perfect solution for you here. These are my Green Goddess and Caesar dressings. Both delicious and both very versatile. I use them on everything from salads to pastas to chicken to even hamburgers. So if you'd like to see how these are made, and they're really easy, stick around because it's coming up next. Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name's Roy. I am a home cook and amateur baker, and I'm here on this channel sharing recipes that have helped me to lose over 125 pounds, whether those recipes are mine or someone else's. Now today you're not going to just get one of mine, you're going to get two of mine, but they're just my take on classic salad dressings. I just adapted them for my lifestyle and hopefully yours as well. Now the first one we're going to start off with is a Green Goddess dressing, which a Green Goddess is just pretty much an herby type of dressing, which is why Paul is not a fan. My partner Paul is not a fan of herby flavored things. He doesn't mind a little herb, but if it's overly green tasting, he's not a fan. So when he tasted this, he was not having it. But I really enjoyed it, and I used it for a couple of different things. I did a chicken salad with it. I used it as a spread on sandwiches. So you don't have to just use these for salads. But I'm just not doing a basic Green Goddess. I am doing an avocado Green Goddess dressing. Now, yes, avocado does add some bites and points because of its fattiness, but avocado is a good fat to have. So I don't mind having some avocado in this. In the other dressing we're going to be doing, I actually use some olive oil. So you can use such ingredients, but if you use them just a little bit, it's not going to really damage your bites, points, or calories. But let us go over the ingredients that I have for my avocado Green Goddess dressing. I have here one avocado, and that weighs about half a pound because once you get rid of the pit and the skin, it should come to about 5 ounces or so of avocado. So that is what I'm basing the bites, points, calories, and macros on, is using 5 ounces of avocado. I have here 1 cup of parsley, and that is fresh. You do not want to use dried herbs for a dressing like this. There are some dressings where, yes, dried herbs work fine. But in a Green Goddess, where that is the main component, you want to go with fresh. I have here 1/2 ounce of chives. This container is 1/2 ounce. So I just took this container and I chopped the pieces up just a little bit so that they're not going into the food processor whole. But one of those containers is sufficient. You can also change up the herbs that I'm using. If you don't want to use the chives, you can't find chives, you can use scallions or spring onions or what have you. Instead of the parsley, you can use cilantro, which is not one of my favorites, but some people do use that. You just want green herbs. You could use some basil and some other things. You don't want all basil because that might be a little too heavy-handed. Maybe some basil and oregano, who knows? You can play around with the herbs if you're not a fan of any of these. I have here 1/4 cup of non-fat Greek yogurt. That's going to help enhance the creaminess of this dressing. I have here 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. You can swap that out for lime juice if you'd prefer, and you'd still get the same acidic flavor. You just get a different background note. I have here 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. That is about 3 cloves if you want to mince it yourself. Here I have 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/8 teaspoon of black pepper. Now to round out all of these ingredients, here I have 1 cup of water. I may or may not use all of it, but that is going to help us to loosen up the dressing a little bit to get it the consistency that you want. Could be anywhere from 1/2 cup to a full cup, depending on your preferences. All right, so those are the ingredients. Let me shuffle a few things around. We're gonna get started. All right, so I have my Kool mini food processor here. That's what I'm going to use to mix this. Making a dressing is really just as easy, at least for these dressings, as throwing everything into the little food processor and blending it up. But the first thing I'm going to do, I have it on my scale because I'm going to weigh the avocado. Now, if you're not sure how to open up an avocado and get that pit out, I'm going to show you, but make sure you're very careful doing it. I'm just going to cut through the flesh of the avocado. I go around the pit. I can feel the pit there. I'm going to twist open and then carefully take the knife and poke at the pit and pull it right out. So that's how you get rid of an avocado pit. And now I'm going to go get rid of this avocado pit. Okay, now that the pit is gone, I'm just going to take a spoon and run it along the flesh there and just peel it away and drop it right in. And sometimes some of the flesh will be left behind, so you can scrape that out as well. And we're already at 2.5 ounces, so this is going to be roughly 5 ounces, which is what I'm looking for. And that is 5 ounces right there. So definitely start with about an 8-ounce avocado, and you should have about the right amount of flesh. Now I'm going to take all of the other ingredients, the parsley, chives, lemon juice, Greek yogurt, garlic, salt, and pepper. And now I'm just going to attach the cover and blend this up until it all comes together harmoniously. So give me a second to get this processed. Okay, so I've blitzed it. You can still see there's some parsley in there that is visible. Just going to scrape that down and get things back down towards the blade and then give it another blitz here. Okay, so I still see some bits of avocado, but right now it's a nice thick dressing, which is nice for some things, but that's not what we're looking for. So now I'm going to add in about half of the water and see if it's at a point once I'm done processing, if it's where I want it or if it needs a little bit more water. Okay, and now let's see. It's still a little thick. I want it to be a little thinner so I can pour it on as a salad dressing. If you wanted to just stop there, you could use this thicker version for like a chicken salad, as I said I've done before. But I'm just going to add a tiny bit more water here and blend that up. All right, so that looks pretty good. It's still thick, but it's loose enough to pour. So I'm going to transfer this into a bowl. Okay, so there's our first dressing down, the avocado green goddess dressing. Now this comes to about 2 cups of dressing, and that will depend on how much water you've added, whether or not you get that same amount, and how thick or thin you like your dressing. But the way I'm doing it, it comes to about 2 cups. Each serving is going to be 2 tablespoons, so that is 16 servings of dressing right there. But we still have one more dressing to get onto, so let me go clean up my little food processor and we will move on. Okay, so for our next dressing, this actually came as a request from Diana F. during my first live stream about 2 months ago. So I played around with the recipe a bit and finally got one that I enjoy. One of the things that a Caesar salad dressing is typically known for is having anchovies. I'm not really going to use anchovies for anything, so I don't want to have to buy anchovies just to make a salad dressing. So there is a workaround, and I will get to that in a minute. But first, let's go over the ingredients. Here I have 1/2 cup of non-fat Greek yogurt. Now that is at room temperature just because I like to have things at room temperature so they come together a little more easily. But since we're working this in a food processor or even a blender, if that's how you're doing it, it doesn't really have to be at room temperature because the motion of the blender or a food processor will homogenize everything well enough without it being at room temperature. I have here 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. That is very standard also in a Caesar salad. It's one of the predominant flavors. Here I have 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and I've done it with or without the olive oil. The olive oil does add a little bit of richness to this, but it doesn't add any bites or points. It will obviously affect the calories and macros. But if you're following bites or points, it's not going to really affect it. Here I have 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and that's going to give us a nice acidic note. It's not going to make it too acidic, but it's going to be a nice little background note that will pair nicely with this 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard that I have here. I tried upping the mustard to get a little bit more of that acidity, but the mustard flavor got a little too heavy, so that's why I opted for more lemon juice and a little less of the Dijon. Here I have 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. That is about 1 clove if you want to mince it yourself. I have 1.5 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. I can't say that on a good day, so with my jaw giving me issues today, forget about it. But I'm using the Worcestershire sauce because it contains anchovies already. So it's going to give us some of that anchovy flavor without having to buy a container of anchovies and have them all rot because I didn't need them for anything else. I have here 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So those are all the ingredients that you're gonna need. Let me bring in my food processor. We're gonna get started. All right, so now it's just going to be the same thing we did with the avocado green goddess dressing. Just dump everything in here and process it. Non-fat Greek yogurt, oil, lemon juice, Parmesan, garlic, Dijon mustard, Worcestershire sauce, salt, and pepper. And again, throw on our lid, and we're going to process this up. Okay, halfway through, I'm just going to scrape that down a little bit. And I'm just going to process it again quickly. Okay, and there we have our Caesar dressing. Let me get that thrown into a bowl, and I'll be back. All right, so there we now have our Caesar dressing. So Diana, I hope that you enjoy this recipe. And this made 3/4 of a cup of dressing. This is going to serve only 6, so you could easily double it if you needed to. But since you should only store it for about 5 days in the refrigerator, this is probably plenty, and then you can always make more when you need it. So there we have our Caesar dressing, and here we have our avocado green goddess. Now this does make obviously a lot more than the Caesar dressing, but you can also use it for a lot of things. As I said, I've made chicken salad with it. You could do pasta salad. You could use it on hamburgers, on chicken. I definitely used up my entire container when I made this the last time, and I'm sure this one will go just as quickly. But those are the 2 salad dressings I have to offer you today. Now, as far as bites, points, and calories for each, I'm going to do the avocado green goddess dressing first. And as I said, this would make 16 servings, depending again on how much water you added. If it comes to 2 cups, it's 16 servings, 2 tablespoons a serving, which is typical for a salad dressing. A serving of this green goddess dressing is going to be 0 bites, 0 points. I am on the Healthy Better Balanced plan, which is equivalent to the old WW Blue plan, which I guess is now their simplified plan. 0 for 2 tablespoons of this dressing. Now, if you're following calories, the calories for 1 serving of the green goddess would be 17. And if you are following macros, the fat would be 1.2 grams. The carbs would be 1.3 grams. The fiber would be 0.7 grams. And the protein would be 0.7 grams for 2 tablespoons of the green goddess dressing. Now, for the Caesar dressing that Diana asked for 2 tablespoons of the Caesar dressing, it's just going to be 1 Better Balanced bite or Old Blue Point. Now, if you were following calories, the calories for 1 serving would be 58. And if you were following macros, the fat would be 3.9 grams. The carbs would be 2.1 grams. The fiber would be 0 grams. And the protein would be 3.5 grams for the Caesar salad dressing. But 2 great salad dressings that aren't going to take too many of your bites, points, or calories. Dressings that you can actually use on more than just salads. And you know what's gone into them. If it's store-bought, who knows? Now, if you enjoyed this video, I hope that you will consider supporting my channel by doing the usual, like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit that notification bell for the next time I upload any sort of video. And if you're looking for these recipes, they will of course be on my blog. I will link directly to each of these recipes down below in the description box. Also down there is the link to my blog itself if you're looking for any of my recipes. My Amazon storefront, Built Bar rewards, Fetch rewards, Skinny Syrups code, and my social media if you want to follow me over there. I have my Instagram and 2 Facebook groups that I'm part of, so go check out that description box for all sorts of information. And if you're not sure how to access that description box, underneath the title here where it says more or show more, just click on that and it will open up the description box for you. But I'm going to go and consider different ways to use these 2 dressings. And I hope you'll be doing the same yourself very soon. So until next time, bye.